Welcome back, Focus Learners. Let's jump right into today's explainer. We're tackling a challenge that genuinely frustrates a lot of backend developers, and that is transitioning an Encore TS CAPTCHA integration from a fragile local script into a resilient, production-ready workflow that actually scales. So let me ask you a question. Do you think your CAPTCHA integration is finished just because it works once on your local machine? Think again. Many Encore TS workflows perform perfectly during development but immediately start failing in production because of things like session mismatches, poor retry logic, or just missing monitoring. Over the next few minutes, we're going to walk through a practical checklist to help you build a much more reliable workflow. You see, local testing is pristine. It's a clean, single run, right on the happy path. But the production reality? It's chaotic. We're talking network hiccups, tight deploy windows, unattended CI pipelines. The things that break a workflow aren't usually the CAPTCHA solvers themselves, it's the chaotic environment around them. When a system runs unattended, you absolutely need predictable solve latency and clean failure modes. All right, here is our roadmap for building that scalable automation. 1, the production reality check. 2, the reliability checklist. 3, measuring true workflow success. 4, avoiding common pitfalls. And 5, safe and scalable automation. Starting off with Section 1, the production reality check. Let's look beyond the happy path. These are the real-world factors that cause deceptively simple code to just fail the moment it runs unattended. Scheduled workers, CI pipelines, changing CAPTCHA types, temporary network failures. Your architecture has to absorb all of this pressure without requiring you to hold its hand. Moving right along to Section 2, the reliability checklist. This is your core framework. Every single request must follow this exact sequence. Capture your parameters, submit the task, wait and poll, apply the token, and then record the outcome. Keeping this workflow consistent makes debugging and maintenance so much easier. Seriously, if another developer looks at your code, they should be able to read this pipeline in 5 minutes flat. First up on that checklist, validate every request before submitting. Verify that your page URL, site key, CAPTCHA type, and action values match the live page exactly. So many integration issues are caused by incorrect inputs rather than problems with the solver itself. You want to stop those false debunking trails before they even start. Now, this next one is a massive deal. Keep everything in the exact same browser session or HTTP client. A mismatched session is arguably the single most common reason a perfectly solved token gets rejected. You have to use the same context that triggered the initial challenge. If you hand off the token to a completely fresh HTTP request, the target server is going to reject it. Unified sessions are non-negotiable here. Next is your polling strategy. Look, polling every single second doesn't speed anything up, it just adds load and noise. Instead, try this smart cadence. Wait 15 seconds before your first poll, then poll every 5 seconds. Set a hard cap of 120 seconds per task, and crucially, if you hit a terminal error, stop immediately. Right alongside polling, you've got to control your retries. Retries should recover temporary failures. They shouldn't hide permanent problems. Cap your retries at 3 attempts using exponential backoff, and log every final failure. Infinite retries just drain your API balance and hide the real defects. Okay, on to Section 3, measuring true workflow success. Let's shift our perspective to operations. There is a critical difference here that a lot of folks miss. Solver success just means the API returned a valid token. Workflow success means the target application actually accepted it and finished the job. You absolutely must track both so you know exactly where your drop-offs are happening. So, why are these specific metrics into your dashboards? A first solve P50 latency under 25 seconds? That means you've got a healthy integration. A solver success rate of 95% or higher confirms you're using correct inputs, and an end-to-end acceptance rate of 95% proves your session handoff is solid. Tracking these tells you if your automation is actually healthy. Section 4, avoiding common pitfalls. Let's troubleshoot some everyday mistakes. Avoiding these specific anti-patterns can dramatically improve your production stability. Don't use wrong input parameters. Don't submit tokens from a different session. Avoid over-polling. Definitely don't retry indefinitely, and never ignore those downstream end-to-end acceptance metrics. Let's look at the one-line fixes for roughly 90% of the support tickets out there. Getting an error underscore wrong user key? Usually it's just stray white space, so recopy it. Error underscore zero balance? Top up those credits, and maybe add an elect this time. Error underscore page URL?
You've got malformed input, so revalidate against the live HTML. Very simple, direct fixes.
Finally, Section 5, Safe and Scalable Automation. Let's scale securely.
Let's do a rapid-fire FAQ. Question 1. Why are my successfully solved tokens being rejected? Honestly, this is the biggest roadblock developers hit when they move to a real deployment. It is so frustrating to get a valid token and then be denied access.
We mentioned it earlier, but it gets its own spotlight here. Session mismatch. Applying that solved token in a different browser context or HTTP session than the one that triggered the challenge is almost always the culprit. Unifying the solve and the form submission inside the exact same HTTP session fixes this immediately.
Question 2. What happens if the CAPTCHA family on the live page suddenly changes? Third-party dependencies evolve all the time, right? Your automated workflow really needs to survive those changes without forcing you to completely rebuild your architecture. The answer here is modularity. Modular integrations survive changes. Because a single API handles multiple families, you don't have to rebuild everything. You just swap out the task type parameter in your request, and you keep that exact same submit and pull loop we just talked about. One final, absolutely crucial safety reminder. This type of workflow should only ever be used in owned, client-authorized, or contractually permitted environments. Reliable automation means operating strictly within authorized, ethical boundaries. Always keep it professional.
So, I want to leave you with this provocative thought. Is your CAPTCHA automation built just to work once, or is it actually built to scale in production? If this checklist helped you better understand production-ready CAPTCHA workflows, definitely explore the complete Encore.ts integration guide for more implementation examples. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and follow along for more backend automation and reliability tips. Catch you next time.